Right. Hi, Maria. And Pauline will be back later on. Excellent. Okay. Right. Well, none of you are new, so you all know the format. We are going to have a talk, and then we're going to have the workout. Okay. So today for the talk, we've got the wonderful Lashelle Marlow. So Lashelle is actually a delightful person who I met online. I've just recently, since this lockdown, got into Instagram. Never been on Instagram in my life, to be honest. I whisper. I didn't even know what Instagram really was about. So I'm still not quite sure. But I've been mucking about with it, and on one of the days that I was mucking about on the Instagram, I came across Lashelle, and she does these day-to-day insights, which I found absolutely fascinating. Well, actually, Lachelle's going to talk about herself today, and she's going to talk about um, having a passion, the importance of work-life balance, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her passion. Let me just say a few words about Lashelle. So Lashelle, she's had a 10-year career in the NHS and loves serving others. And it's with this enthusiasm that she recently trained as an Instagram manager. This career actually provides her freedom and flexibility to pursue her interest in autism and advocacy, supporting local families. So she would just tell you about her journey a little bit and what her passion is. So Lashelle, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the Paceworking online workout and talks. You've obviously been before, so you know what it's all about. We've got wonderful people here who'd like to hear about your story and about your passion and about what you've been doing. So it's over to you, Lashelle.
Oh, thank you. I feel so honored. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you all so much for, just having the space to just chat and share my experience. And hopefully I did enough research to just give you some insight. So it's not just about me, but you can take some nuggets away and do with what you may to be inspired and to pursue your passion from a harmonized approach. So if I just share my screen really quickly. And I don't believe in death by PowerPoint. So I try to make it entertaining, engaging, and a little bit thought-provoking. So it, like Shay said, it is a little bit about that, just so I can be held accountable to timing and make it as resonant as possible. Talk about a little bit about disharmony. I don't know if I like the word balance, because can we really be in balance? And if you take nothing away from sharing about my journey, it's a journey and not a destination. So well-being, finding harmony and balance, I don't think I've arrived. I've been doing it 5 years. You're always seeking to find that balance. Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And then I think it's important to know your why. So I love this amazing book by Simon Sinek. I don't know if you guys have heard. It's Start With Why. And I think it helps you be more intentional and more purposeful to understand why something is important. And not only important just in the general sense, like, yes, there's flash words, health and well-being and wellness and work-life balance. But why should it be important to you and to the people within your sphere of influence? And recognizing some of the signs and maybe causes and some of the suggestions that I've incorporated and then also that I've discovered along my journey from other people. So if we move on to feeling a bit disharmony, and I picked some funny things, but the undertone is, it's not so funny when we get into some of the statistics. So I love a bit of all of these people that you see, they're in shows and different things like that. And the songs, work, 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 and all of those kind of things. They're fun when you bump it in the car and all those things. But I think the picture of work, 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 it can take a lot of toll on your body, a lot of toll on your family life. And although it's fun to sing the songs and, to go, because there is a lot of purpose and intention, a lot of our identities are rooted in what we do for a living. And I would just posit not only our identities, but our self-worth and our self-advocacy needs to be just as rooted in that. And being able to push back sometimes and recognize when your body and your mind, I think more importantly, is saying, hey, I've had enough, or maybe put some things in place to say, wait a minute, I need to recharge my batteries and refuel. And well-being, the last little diff you see on here, it cannot wait. And we'll discuss some reasonings why it's important for us to maybe act now. And that doesn't mean you do some big old giant thing that's unsustainable, but look at how I can make little steps every day to create harmony and balance in my lived experience. So if we look at some of the signs, I start off with overfunctioning, and Shay referenced, I do a podcast, and that is one of my passions, although my co-hosts and I, where we're looking at reformatting it because we have so many exciting other individual programs. So we've put a little pause on it for now, but there are about like 16 episodes if you want to go back to, but we're going to re-gig the format because we recognize that we were overstretched and we needed to kind of like regroup and reback so we can be authentic when we share with people that are taking a journey with us every week, and we can be refreshed and renewed and serve people well because we're coming from a place of wholeness. So I know I used to say, oh, there's no time for self-care. What is that? I don't have time to go off to a retreat or go off as much as I want to get a mud mask and a massage by a big swish dude. That just wasn't happening. But you can do self-care in your home, maybe with your girlfriends or something like that, or maybe just say, I need a break. I have an autistic daughter and she's high functioning, but she has a lot of high needs. And I had to recognize at different points in my time, I need to build in time to replenish myself, to just have a lie-in, to not have to do the laundry and all that, just to have some me time. So you have to carve out, what does that me time represent for you? Where can you recharge your batteries? Sometimes I recharge my batteries by, well, not during current times, but recharge my batteries by, going out, meeting with my mates, or now I just go take a really, really long walk around the neighborhood or a local lakeside in our area, just to kind of get some quiet time. But I'm very extroverted, so I get my energy, I get my buzz for connecting with other people. So, I know there is death by Zoom these days, but sometimes I just get on a WhatsApp group with like 5 of my mates and we'll just talk about absolute rubbish nothingness. But it's so good to just be connected and hear them laugh. And that's how I recharge and get my balance or my sense of harmony, by plugging in and learning how to unplug as well. Do you ever find that it's hard to concentrate if you haven't had a lot of sleep? I just was reading a study about that, about how over an extended period of time, when you don't get enough sleep, or when you're having issues with concentrating, that's usually your body's way of saying it's not getting refreshed, renewed. So those are some things to think about. And feelings of unhappiness. And happiness is such an individual journey. But I know when I'm feeling out of harmony, out of sync, my moods are low, and I'm a very bubbly kind of person. So that when I see that initially, and I might still be smiling and have a mask on, but that sustained mask, when it's not matching the inside, it's if you can catch it early and say, oh, what things do I need to put in place so I don't go to a low point? Because there are a lot of issues associated with mental health. And I know sometimes in some settings that can be taboo, but it hits everybody's house and it hits everyone's community. And it's the kind of conversations that we are brave enough to have to support one another, so it doesn't get to crisis point. And those are experiences that have hit home for me. And some other implications might be negative effects on your personal life, lack of personal development, physical mental health problems I stated earlier, maybe poor relationships or poor home life. So these are some of the things that might be signs to indicate, ooh, I need to check in with myself. So following on to some of the causes, and this is not true in everyone's situation because it is really an individual journey, but I've noticed in my life sometimes, and in the lives of people that are dear and near to me, and even people who are not, that you say, oh, wow, they might be ready, they might be on the way to a burnout, and how maybe if you have the capacity to support them. Too many working hours, deterioration of mental health. And I know we see movies and you see somebody going do lolly and all that stuff, and you're like, ooh, but sometimes it can be a gradual thing and it can be unseen for a long time until it gets to crisis point. Um, Burnout, maybe higher risk of depression, anxiety, and insomnia, which is linked to lack of sleep. And some of the things for me personally, I took home these things. What can be done? So I don't think anyone is too far or too old or too set in their ways to say, I'm going to take some everyday steps to help me experience the harmony, help me experience whatever that well-being success is for that individual. So first of all, one needs to acknowledge, ooh, I need something. Or to be more preventative, what steps, what things can I put in place to help me stay in a safe place, to help me keep that harmony? Taking personal responsibility, maybe having an accountability buddy, because I know whenever I've been on so many diets, ladies, it's just unbelievable. Lose weight, gain weight, all that kind of stuff. And I'm a bit of an emotional eater, and I have to acknowledge that. But what kind of accountability can I take for my own balance, for my own harmony and well-being? And sometimes having a friend along for the journey, or just somebody you can check in with maybe once a week or once a month, to help, encourage you, not to browbeat you, because that is terribly unhealthy and unhelpful. But what can you do? What steps can you take to take personal responsibility for your harmony, for your work-life balance and well-being? And that has been fundamental. And it's not a one-time conversation I found in my experience. It's something that you might revisit, maybe quarterly, maybe, ooh, did I meet my goals this week? And guess what? If you didn't, don't beat yourself up, because your brain will work against you. It's primordial, and it'll be like, oh gosh, let's not do that again. We don't like that feeling. Let's protect ourselves. So if you beat yourself up and you're really critical, then it'll be that much harder to get back on the horse and continue your journey. And prioritization, I say, for me, has been just an enormous focus point. What are 3 things that will help me get closer to my goal? And I know sometimes we can have these massive to-do lists, and it ends up, unfortunately, setting ourselves up to fail. But I think I started practicing just in the last 2 months. What 3 things, first of all, what are my goals, and make them measurable? So I might have a goal for my daughter. I might have 1 or 2 goals for me for the month. And what 3 things can I do this week to help me move closer to that goal? So like my one goal is to create and launch an online course associated with single moms who have autistic children who dysregulate, to experience calm, confidence, and fall back in love and thrive in their parenting journey. So I was like, first of all, who am I to tell? What kind of insights and information can I share with them? And I'm passionate about it, because I felt like for many years, you just kind of left by the wayside. People can't really get that experience. Professionals are overworked, so you feel like you're on a bit of a conveyor belt to just move through the system. And you're hoping this ray of light is going to happen. And sometimes it comes in the most amazing ways, but not packaged where and when you think it should appear. And it was very painful, a lot of trauma. So I focused in my mind that if I can prevent one other single mom from going through that and feeling like you are alone, then that's my passion. That's my mission. So my priorities every week has to move me towards that goal. And I don't, oh, I'm going to do this in 90 days. Child, please. That's going to get you into the craziness, because you're putting too much pressure on you. I will pace myself. I do 1 module a month. If I do a little faster, that's fine. And then I beta test it. So that helps me get a little closer to my goal. And boundary setting. I love the power of saying no or not yet. It's wonderful, especially if you're a servant, if you have a heart to give, it's beautiful, but you cannot pour from an empty cup, from an empty vessel. And sometimes it's hard to say no, or maybe ask questions to make sure that people are clear about what they're expecting of you, what you are able and have the capacity to deliver, and make sure other people are held accountable so it doesn't end up all on your shoulder. I've been in that situation so many times, and things can go really wrong if you don't have the courage to say no, not yet, or asking further questions to get clarity, to make sure that everyone's expectations are managed. And I think all of that is summarized in self-care. Um, so these are some of the things that I've incorporated. I've seen people really benefit from these things, and I won't read all of them. I'll pick a couple of things off of there. My biggest thing these days that I'm really practicing is taking a break. That break could take any form that works best for you. Sometimes I just need to say, right, I just need to get up and change my settings. I need to go for a walk. There was one day my daughter was hyper vigilant, and it wasn't that she was doing it. She was just really amped up, her anxiety levels, and the way she was expressing that, I couldn't leave. And it wasn't safe for me to take her on the road because she was really amped up. So I put in some of my yoga practice, and I created some space for myself in the living room. I was trying to mentally kind of escape from her, if I'm honest. And without fussing and all that, 15 minutes later, after doing some breathing and some brain priming, I realized that she was laying down with me and she calmed down. So they take a leaf out of our book. It doesn't work all the time because she usually tells me I'm a bit nuts going on the mat, but that's another conversation for another day. But you create the atmosphere you need within your power, within your sphere of influence, to be well, to use the tools you need to help you get where you got to go safely. And another one big highlight is talking about your feelings. That means different things to different people. But I think if you hold stuff in, the body holds disease. It could create, if you hold tension, and I know there is medical and psychological studies to suggest that over extended long periods of time, holding stress and anxiety and all those things, it decays your body, it decays your mind, and creates disease, activates carcinogens. And I just think just getting it out. I had a very, very traumatic situation where I was holding a space for a dear, 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 loving, wonderful person. And I needed to be a safe place, I needed to replenish myself every day. I needed to know when I needed to step away in order to stay safe and mentally sane and not say the wrong thing to someone else that I felt wronged my friend. But being able to kind of like talk it out, journaling is a really great way to do that because you don't want to breach someone's confidence. So I was able to journal, and I was able to like get my feelings out. And then I'm a woman of faith. My priest might be like, yeah, you're a little on the edges, but that's another story as well. But I'll talk it out. I'll speak to the universe. I'll speak to my deity, my God, and all those things about things that are on my heart. And that releases me. And when I feel like I need another ear to listen to, I just finished a grief recovery work. And grief is not just about bereavement. It's about the loss of dreams, the loss of grief associated with why is my journey so difficult because it looks so different in other people's experience. So all of that, and talking to a professional in that capacity was it lifted a lot of load. So I'd say those are my two key take homes, but those other things on that list may resonate with some of you ladies. So I've been kind of telling you about my autism journey. So I'm very passionate about helping women. I'm passionate about having our families thrive. I do not believe we have to get the scraps off of society's table when it comes to our autistic children or any kind of special needs families' journeys. Things need to change, and there are a lot of champions out there making it happen. We are neurodivergent families. I've gone from someone who was on the brink of just losing it to I have superpowers. I have an amazing story to tell, and I believe the power of uniting our shared voices so we can activate and advocate for our families and children. And I just threw in this lady yelling through the window because I just thought it was fun. And I could relate. Oh God, I can relate to that. And just to leave you with a few autistic facts, approximately 700,000 people are diagnosed. There are so many people who don't have a diagnosis. And if you don't have a diagnosis, you don't have the paperwork. If you don't have the paperwork, you can't get the right treatment in place. And sometimes it's just bad, oh, that's bad. That behavior is bad. I even had a teacher tell me one time that once my child exercises her demons, she might be able to come back. That kind of person probably should not be working with children. 1 in 4 children in the UK have a mental illness. So that means there are a lot of families that are impacted by this. what are we doing as a society to make sure those families and those children are supported so they can thrive and be the best version of themselves? When you leave something undone, then you set it up for crisis point, and that's when people break. And this thing is really staggering. Mental stress linked to daily care, behavior management, stigmatization, advocacy, financial, and social implications. I did a read, I think it was the University of Chicago. They did a longitudinal long time study and found that single moms with children with special are and women of color are 60% higher to have severe depression and have breakages like hospitalization care that might be required in the future. That's because the pressure, the mental fatigue and the pressure that is allowed to sit on our shoulders, and it's something that needs to change. So yeah, so just kind of like just summarizing, I'm doing life in a traditional work, doing life in traditional work roles was not compatible to the needs and the care that my family. So I left a really high powered industry based job and I stepped down part-time. But I don't know if any of you ladies can, this resonates. When people advertise jobs that are part-time, they expect you to show up full-time in those part-time hours. And that just wasn't sustainable. And I had to be brave enough to look at that. Is this compatible? And I had to walk away because my kid comes first. And everyone can't make that decision depending on their situations, but it was not healthy for me to remain in that because the burden, the pressure was too much. I'm home educating. So my current job that Shay referenced is I've retrained as a social media manager. I found my mojo in Instagram, and I found a body of women and families who are doing life and are supporting each other. And that's my zone of genius. I love Instagram. And only in April, I thought Instagram was a dating site for teenagers. I had no idea. So I had to have a massive mindset shift. People are doing massive deals and getting clientele and customers through social media, but you have to understand how to utilize it, how to link with your ideal customers and have messages that are valuable, that resonates with people. So that's where my business life has ventured into. And that says, so linking into where this little bubble is with the little kid in the balloon, identify our care needs as a family. There's a lot of trauma associated with just having special needs, but there's other historical trauma that we had to support. So I needed to cultivate an environment to help switch on the lights of education for my daughter. And I needed flexibility. I needed to buy back my time and have the kind of flexibility in my work that lent itself to that. Homeschooling is hard because I do not have a degree, but I recognized my daughter was not getting what she needed to thrive. So I stood and I advocated. And when I didn't get with her, I pulled her out. So only time will tell if I've done the right thing, but I feel like I am walking my conscience, I'm walking our truth, and we're seeing some really good, fantastic results. And like I already said, I work with Sin Moms. You don't have to go it alone, and it's a supportive network. Any questions? And thank you all so much for your time. I'm really grateful.
Thank you so much, Lashelle. That was just incredible. Yeah, I mean, you fit in a lot. There were some real take-home messages there. I like the bit about saying no. I also like the bit when you were talking about, brave conversations and, acknowledging when you actually need to, you need help or you need to stand back.
It's hard. It's hard.
And also, the accountability buddy is something that I haven't heard, but I think it's something new. And it's something that is really important. As long as that accountability buddy is the right person, I think, because
yes,
you don't want to
that's key.
surround yourself with negative energy, especially if you're on the path to something
That's
positive.
true.
So that accountability buddy has to be somebody who is the right buddy as well. So it's about
Take your time. Take your
with the
time.
right people, isn't it? Yeah.
So I have a really good friend who is also a special needs mom. We drink white wine every other Friday. she would not be a good accountability buddy. But we can cry. But I'm not giving up my white wine, honey. I need that. But she holds a space for me where other people just can't get it. We understand. We recognize each other's story, but not my accountability buddy.
Oh, excellent. Oh my goodness. Well, let me first of all open it out. Does anybody have any questions for Lashelle? Any comments or observations perhaps on, or something that she said that resonates with something you're going through or have been through, or recognizing in anyone else?
Yeah, I can talk.
Yeah, go.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
I really feel, yeah, I resonate with a lot of things because I've been like working on my journey like for a long time, and a lot of things you said is just I really really feel like, because you really need to first of all like understand yourself to know how to act, because we live in a society where we have so many things we're supposed to do and we forget about us. And we are the most important thing, because if we are not okay, nothing makes sense in our life. So yeah, all the things you said that were really like beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing and open with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And what I wanted to find out is that, was it easy for you to get a network of mums? Is it just mums or just parents generally that you could kind of work with and share your knowledge and experience and get help with?
Well, it was all about relationship building, and I've always had some really lovely, well, not always, I've had a few people that I've had to say sayonara to because they didn't get it and they didn't try. And I would say parenting is a unique experience to everyone, but when you have a child on the spectrum and special needs, and when there is outward manifestation of that, sometimes people are supportive and sometimes people can be a little cruel and insensitive. And I think for the first few years, I was around a lot of my associations that just didn't get it. And I felt so misunderstood. And a lot of times I stay by myself, and that's not necessarily good. And it wasn't until I moved to a different area and the universe, divine intervention, whatever, put me in connection just by chance with a mom who was going on the diagnostic journey. And then from there, she introduced me to a few people. But it wasn't until I got on Instagram and I was able to kind of like go through the process. What's my voice? Oh, do I want to do this? Do I want to be a social media manager? But my voice, once I was very clear about, I want to connect with other moms, it's like in the last maybe 6 weeks, 2 months, it's just exploded. So I'd say I have almost 700 people. And I've just only been growing it since May. And I'd say 90% of those people are either parents, adult children who are autistic, or practitioners who are passionate about serving special needs families. So from that regard, when I got clear on my messaging and got clear on the kind of people I wanted to connect with, it just exploded. And every day it's continuing to grow.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good news there. And I also like the bit where you talked about your, having, the space you were working in, and going from full-time to part-time, and at the same time fitting in, and I've been there, fitting in, part-time hours, but expected to do a full-time job. And it's just so and this is normally, in fairness, a lot of women go through that, and you just can't do it. And you've just got to actually say no, I can't do this. There's certain things that are a priority, and you have to probably make quite a bit of a sacrifice. So well done on what you've decided to do. And I really wish you well with
Thank you.
how you're going about it. Excellent. Any more questions?
No, but can I just echo what all of you have said? I think Michelle, you've hit the nerve of probably every, well, a lot of working mothers, in the world, who have just slugged it day and night, on and on. And as you said, no parenting is not the same for every parent.
Yeah.
I think one thing I will say, and I always say this, I always say it with an apology, with all due respect, you probably look a lot younger than some of us here.
I'm not that young.
But I think, and this is where I get a bit envious, about the younger generation, because the confidence and the boldness and the opportunities that you have today, we didn't have it in our time. And the support, and it's just, really well done to you and others like you being able to stand up and say no. I only started saying no when I hit my 50s. And what I say to people is, if I can't say no now, when am I going to say no? Is it when I'm in the cooking?
Yeah.
If I want to go on a cruise, when am I going to go? If I can't go when I'm 50, is it when I'm much older and my knees are knackered and, I can't enjoy it? Is that when I'm going to go? So, like I said, I really appreciate seeing the younger generation, being bold, being confident, and as I said, in some ways, maybe a bit envious that, yes, I wish I could start again, But really well done to you, and well done for echoing what a lot of women in the past have gone through with no support, and just giving them that avenue. And of course, if there are people, we've managed as best as we can, but it's time, as I say to some people, it's time to hand the baton over. And we look at you with pride. Does that make sense?
Yes. Tola, thank you so much. There's no way we can be bold without standing on your shoulders, without acknowledging all of the contributions and all of the sacrifice. You almost make me want to cry. It's my grandmother's birthday today, and she passed away about 10 years ago, a real bad complication with dementia. And if she had not paved the way for me, so we have to give honor. We have to give thanks to where it's due. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lashelle. That was, such a really from the heart. I love when somebody gives a presentation and it's informative, but it's also from the heart. It's really, their experience, and it tells you a lot. And it also gives us a lot of takeaways, a lot of things to think about. Not all of us necessarily have children. Not all of us have the same experience with our children. But we do appreciate what you are going through as a mother, and now going and giving back and sharing your knowledge and your experience. So that's really, really good. So I want to thank you. I just want to say that that was just a wonderful presentation, and some people are posting in the link. I've posted in the link Lashelle's details. You can get in touch with her about what she has said, and also if you know anybody that might need her wise counsel, I'll call it, please let them know. As I said, I was just blessed to come across Lashelle.
You gonna make me cry, child. Let's sauce it and work these tears out.
As part of my Instagram journey, I didn't really know what I was doing on Instagram either. And for me, it was like, oh, this lady, she looks good, she sounds good, and she is good. So I invited her. So thank you so much.
And my pleasure.
Yes.
Lashelle, are you based here in the UK or America?
I am. I'm in Surrey. Yes.
Okay, because the accents, I thought. Okay.
I know, Chad. I do not inflict my British dodgy accent on the natives. It's like Dick Van Dyke, awful.
Okay.
Awful.
That's
No,
okay.
don't say you're awful. No,
No, not me. My British accent. Hey, mate, give me a cup of tea. See, it's really bad. It's bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
I know.
Just be your authentic self. That's fine.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, now we're going to shake it up. We're going to do
Yeah.
out with
Hopefully.
wonderful Pauline. So, please,
Okay.
over to you.